Lesson 3 has to do with organizing the worksheet. For the most part of it, you're going to know or be familiar with this because we have done it in Word, but there are a few things that I will certainly point out to you that you need to be aware of that are new. First of all, the question, if I cut something and paste it one time in the document, how many times do you have it?
3 times.
I got 1, twice, and 3 times. Let me read. The question is, if I cut and paste it one time, how many times do I have it in the document? Once. I cut it, means I actually remove it from where it is, and I paste it one time. I have it one time. If I copy and paste it one time, how many times do you have it in the document? Twice. If I move something, how many times do you have it in the document? Move it to one place. Move it one time. I have it one time. Move is the same as cut and pasting, or cutting. Let's put it that way. Now, let me caution you, most of the mistakes, for the most part, that were made on Lesson 2 were you did not read and highlight the correct cells or work with the correct range of cells that it told it to do. So I need you to select A1 through D7. A1 through D7. Go ahead and select it. Now, all of you are familiar up here on the Home tab. Here's where the little clipboard is that will keep track of everything that you cut or paste. If you need to see the clipboard, then hit that little arrow, expand it out. Here's your cut, Control X. Here's your copy, or Control C. Here's your paste, or Control V. Or you can right click out here on the selected range of cells, and for this part choose copy. And notice when you choose that, we didn't see this in Word, but notice you have a marching border around the range of cells that you have copied. Now I want you to click in A8, and if you will, I want you to paste what you just copied in A8. So I don't care how you do it. You can right click in A8 and choose paste, Control V and choose paste, but you need to be in A8 so it will appear there. To remove the little marching border off of there, folks, press the escape key and it will turn that marching border off. Or sometimes you can just click on another cell and enter data and it will do it. But most of the time I just press the escape key to turn it off. Now, that we copied and pasted. Let me show you who remembers about the drag and drop command. Anybody? I drag it, but I first have to select it. So now, if you will select A8 through D14, and let me show you, if you'll watch up here, and then I'll let you do it. Put your cursor around the outside border till it becomes the 4 arrows, and we want to copy using the drag and drop method. So hold down the Control key and drag it down until the top border is in A15, and you should have something that looks like that. To copy something using the drag and drop method, you must hold down the Control key. If you just select it and drag and drop it, that's like cut and pasting. Copy using the drag and drop method is like copying and pasting, but you use the Control key. I don't care if you do the long way. I don't care if you use the drag and drop method, but you probably need to know for your questions that to copy using the drag and drop method, you must hold down the Control key as you drag and drop. All right. Notice it kept track. I'm not going. The cut command is the same. Only it will just cut it, and then you put it to paste it. All right. What I want you to do at this point is in cell A10. Click in cell A10. And we want to replace the word electricity with the words natural gas. In A10, I want you to type the words natural gas. And then in B10, I want you to replace kilowatts per hour, which is what electricity is measured in, to 100 CF, which stands for cubic feet. B10, it doesn't matter. I just lose lowercase. B10, 100 CF, which stands for 100 cubic feet. That's how natural gas is measured. And then in C10, I want you to, it's going to be cost per, erase the cubic feet, kilowatts per hour, and type in 100 CF. Cost per 100 cubic feet. We're just making some changes here.
Is there space between 100 and CF?
No. Now, I want you to click in cell C4. In cell C4. And I want you to enter 0.098. 0.098. Now, folks, what I'm getting ready to show you, you really need to understand and know, because you're going to use it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Look down here in the bottom right-hand corner of your cell. Right down here. Do you see a little black square? All right. That little black square is known as the fill handle. So when it says use the fill handle, you're going to know to go up there, put your cursor on that little black square, and it changes to a skinny plus sign. Drag down for cell C5 through C6. And what it does is it fills those cells with that amount. It's a time-saving device. Yes, you could have gone and entered it for each cell, but this is quicker. Also, the fill handle will only work for cells that are adjacent to each other, that are next to each other. Go down in C11 and type in 1.68. The cost of natural gas is $1.68 per 100 cubic feet. Use the fill handle again and fill that amount in cells C12 through C13. Now, just for kicks, let's go out and click in cell G1, type the word January, and suppose we needed to put the months of the year all the way down. If you will use the fill handle, it's pretty smart, and it will go ahead and type in the months of the year for you. Fill in each cell with the month of the year. Go to H1 and type in Sunday, and you can go use the fill handle and go across, and it will type in the days of the week for you. Or fill in, I should say, fill in the days of the week. I need you to know how to use the fill handle. Oh, let's look here. Let's go to J4 and type the number 2. And then in J5, type the number 4. J5, type the number 2. J5, type the number 4. Click and highlight both of them. Use the fill handle and watch what happens when you go down. It automatically knows to count by 2s because that's how you set it up. If you use K4 and type in 5, and then L4 and type in 10, highlight the 5 and the 10, use the fill handle and go across, and it will fill it in by increments of 5s across there. You have to select both of them, the 2 and the 4. And then use the fill handle that's at the bottom of the 4 cell. By selecting 2 of them, it knows how many increments you're going to increase it by. So you have to have at least 2 cells filled in. You can increase it by 3, 6, 9, increments of 9, increments of 10s, increments of any number if you want to, as long as you have at least the start of it going. But that is the fill handle, folks. A very quick time-saving device. Very important to you when we get ready to enter formulas and you want to copy the formula down. You can use that fill handle, and believe you me, you will want to do that rather than entering the formulas over and over again. So please remember where that is. Inserting rows, deleting rows. Let's look here. Folks, it's the same as it was in Word. If I want to insert a row to the left of column B, all I have to do is right click and do insert, and it automatically, I'm sorry, that's a column. It automatically knows to insert a column there. Notice it's blank. All right, the same is true for rows. If I want a row above these two, maybe I want to insert 2 rows above here. I select 2 rows, I right click and choose insert, and it inserts 2 blank rows above what I had selected. Same difference. If I want to get rid of them, it's the same process. Select them, press delete. And I want to get rid of column B and press delete. Now, be careful. If you delete a row or a column that has information data in it, it erases the data also.
How do
How to do what? Please watch up here a minute so you'll know what I'm explaining. I'm going to insert a row. Well, no, let me do this. I want to copy this. I want to move what I have selected over here to column A. If I select it, I'm going to use the drag and drop method. I'm going to drag it over, but look what it asks me. Do you want to replace the contents of the destination cell? If you are trying to move data into a cell that already has data, it's going to erase the data that's there. I don't want to replace the contents, so I'm going to click cancel. What I have to do is insert another column, and then I can move it and place it there. In other words, if you are going to move data, make sure the destination cells are empty. If they're not empty, it's going to ask you to replace it. I'm going to do undo so I don't have that. I'm going to delete that column so I don't have that. Obviously, if you do something by mistake, what button can you press to Control Z, yes, but what button up here on the quick access toolbar can you choose? Brandon?
Back arrow.
Which it stands for what? Undo. Yeah, that's your quick way to get stuff undone, is to press the undo button. Okay. All right, this other little bit, folks, I need you to pay attention up here because it can get confusing. I'll warn you. Pretend this is a very large spreadsheet. And when we scroll down or across, we want this first row and this column to stay put. We don't want it to scroll. Under the View tab right here, you have a command that says Freeze Panes. Go ahead and click on it so you can see the choices. We can freeze the row and the column by just choosing Freeze Panes. We can just choose freeze the top row, or we can freeze the first column. Let's choose the first one, Freeze Panes. And watch what happens when I scroll off. Well, did I choose it? Yeah, I must have. Oh, let me unfreeze. Let me get my cursor here. Now, notice my little lines right here. Notice what happens if I scroll this way. Notice column A does not move. It stays there forever and ever and ever. Notice if I scroll down, let me get back here. If I scroll down, row 1 stays there forever and ever and ever. It doesn't go away. So it's frozen. If I go this way, I can't go anymore. Yeah, it does. Yeah, I can. Notice that's frozen. That is how you can keep information on the screen while wanting to scroll across it, is you use the freeze pane command to freeze the row and the column to keep it in place. To unfreeze it, choose freeze panes and choose the option unfreeze panes, and that removes that little command. The other thing that is right up here in the View tab is the split screen, and this can be confusing. But if you choose it, if you want to just watch up here, notice when I choose split screen, it splits my screen into 4 different panes. Again, this is used when working with very large spreadsheets. Notice each pane has its own set of scroll bars. And I can move these guidelines. I can move where I want to split it. And it splits it either in 2 or 4 panes, even numbers. This one happens to split it into 4. So it's used strictly for large spreadsheets. I don't think you'll be working with any that large, but I didn't want you to know where the split command was. To turn off the split command, just click on it and it removes them. And now you're back at a normal view. All right. Under View also, look at Page Break Preview right over here under the View command. View tab, Page Break Preview. Folks, this shows you how your pages, how your documents, worksheet is split into pages. The dotted line means that is a page break, and so does this solid line. You can move the page breaks. No, maybe I don't want this January, February business on page 1. I can click and move this page bar. So this is really page 1 now. Maybe I only want the first table on there. I can move it up to right there, and that is page 1. So you can move these page breaks around. You just need to know where it is. It's under the View tab. Whoa, I messed that one up. Under the View tab, Page Break Preview. To get out of Page Break Preview, click Normal, and it will take you out of it. Okay, one more little bit of information under the page layout, page setup. We've been here before. Here's where you scale to fit. You should know, you should know that. Margins look a little bit differently than it did in Word, at least the layout of the screen, but here's your top, left, right, bottom. Here's where you could center it horizontally and vertically. Sheet command. Now, folks, look here. When I go to Print Preview, notice I do not have any grid lines. I have borders that were added, but I do not have my row and my column grid lines. To do that, you must go here under the Sheet tab and say Print Grid Lines. And then when I go to Print Preview, I have my grid lines. All right. The same is true. Maybe I wanted my ABCs to print. You could also choose it right here. More than one place to find it. Notice here it put my column letters and my row numbers because I told it to put the column and row headings. These are called column and row headings. Very quickly go into your header footer information. You can have both a header and a footer. The header appears where in your document? At the top, and the footer appears where? Bottom. All right, you can have both. Let's choose header. We haven't played with header or messed with the headers very much. Now, folks, what we haven't discussed very much are these little icons right in here. Suppose in the center section I want to add the date. Remember, there's a little calendar and clock that's running in your computer. So you can choose insert date. It's not going to actually put the actual date. It just puts a programming code for it. Press the space bar, and on the same line, let's put the time. Again, it will just put a programming code for the time. Go to the right section, and maybe we want a page number. So here is the little icon that says insert page number. So I'm going to click that. And maybe I want it to say page 1 of, and then I want the total number of pages. This is the icon for that, and I click that. So when I click OK, and let's go to print preview right here. Notice there's my time, date, here's my time, and here it says page 1 of 3. It's what all those codes meant, and that's how you get that in your header footer information. Okay? Real quickly, what key do you hold down to use to copy using the drag and drop method? Control. How do you make multiple copies of data that's been copied to the clipboard? What do you, huh? How do you make multiple copies of data that's been copied to the clipboard? Paste it. What should you do if you accidentally delete a column or a row? Undo. How do you keep title and column labels on the worksheet? On the screen, no matter how far you scroll in the worksheet. What command do we use to keep both the title and the columns on the screen? The freeze pane, yes. And what's the difference between header and footer? How many panes does splitting a screen create? 2 or 4. Does deleting a row with data delete the data? All right. And is the fill command available only if you're filling adjacent cells? Yes, true. You can only fill cells that are adjacent to each other. And if you paste data in a cell that already has information, what happens to that information? It erases it.